Now we come to the next exercise. See here. Read what Emperor Akbar and Birbal are discussing. We are here with subject and predicate. Now let us see what are these two people discussing. The poor man received heat from the palace lamp. Birbal is saying, then I can also cook khichdi from a fire several feet away. Okay. Now see. A sentence can be divided into two parts, the subject and the predicate. We have already done subject and predicate in our grammar. It's just we will revise once. It will be easy for you. So what is a subject? A subject is what or who the sentence is about. Here the sentence is about whom? The poor man and I in the sentences in the conversation are subjects. Here the poor man is the subject and here I is the subject. The predicate tells us what the subject does. So what is the poor man doing over here? In the conversation above, the groups of words received heat from the palace lamp and can cook khichdi from a fire several feet away are predicates. So these are basically the work which the subjects are doing. So whatever the subject, what work the subject does is the predicate. Note that the subject usually contains a noun, a man, or pronoun, here I, and the article and the adjective that sometimes go with it. So here the poor man is the subject and here I is the subject. So here the adjective is also going and the article is also going. Clear? Example, the poor man, article plus adjective plus noun. And the predicate always contains the verb. So predicate is that part which will always contain the verb. So what is the verb here? Received and can cook. So these two are the predicate verbs in the sentences. Now let us come to page number 29. See, exercise number B. Circle the subject and underline the predicate in each sentence. So there are 6 sentences, children. Here you have to circle the subjects and you will have to underline the predicates. Please refer to the video also in which you have been explained the subject and predicate. That also might help you to complete this exercise. And rest, if you have really understood when we have explained to you before, then it would be very easy for you to complete the exercise. Okay? Now we come to direct object. What is a direct object? The direct object of a verb refers to the person or thing that is directly affected by the action of the verb. So, the direct object is something, is a person or a thing who is getting directly affected by the verb, by the action of the verb. For example, the poor man received heat from the palace lamp. In this sentence, which is the subject? The poor man is the subject. Which is the verb? Received is the verb. And which is the direct object? The subject is receiving what? Is receiving heat. So this is the direct object of the verb. This is the thing which is directly affected by the action of the verb. That what is the poor man receiving? The poor man is receiving heat. Clear? This is a direct object. Let us take another sentence. Then I can also cook khichdi from a fire several feet away. Now, which is the subject over here? I. Right? I is the subject. And which is the verb in this sentence? Cook is the verb. So, what am I cooking? I am cooking khichdi. So, the direct object is khichdi. Is it clear? Now, in these 8 sentences, you will have to underline the verb and circle the direct objects in the sentences. I'll help you to do the first sentence. See, Pulkit distributed sweets in class today. Which is the subject in the sentence? Pulkit. Pulkit is the subject. Which is the verb in the sentence? Distributed is the verb in the sentence. Right? Then, what did Pulkit distribute? Which action is getting directly affected by the verb? That is sweets. So, sweet is the direct object. Is it clear? In this way, you will complete the rest of the sentences in your book itself. Please complete all the exercises that we are discussing today in the book itself. Okay? Now let us come to page number 30. In page number 30, see what here we are with? We are here with punctuation. Children, we have already done the types of sentences, and in the types of sentences we have done a part of punctuation, right? That at the end of declarative or assertive sentences we are supposed to put full stop. At the end of interrogative sentence we are supposed to put question mark. At the end of exclamatory sentences we are supposed to put exclamation mark. So these marks are only called punctuation marks. Now let us see what is there in the exercise. All sentences begin with the capital letter. This is the most important thing, children. Do not forget. All sentences begin with capital letter, and whenever you are putting a full stop, after full stop also the first letter should be capital letter. We also use capital letters for names of people, places, languages, books, films, historical buildings, days of the week and months of the year, and to talk about oneself using I. We use a full stop at the end of a sentence that states something. Clear? So this is about a declarative sentence. And a full stop says what? A full stop says that it is the end of the sentence. Clear? We use a question mark at the end of a sentence that asks a question. We use an exclamation mark at the end of a sentence that expresses a strong feeling such as happiness, sadness, anger, or surprise. So when we show our emotions, we use exclamation mark. Now read this paragraph. Note the use of capital letters and punctuation marks. Nibbles, N is capital, but it is a name, was a little mouse. He, because the first letter we are starting after a full stop. Lived in a hole in a small town in Cuba. Again, Cuba is the name of a place, so C in capital. Again, he, H capital, because it is starting after full stop. He spoke French, it's a language, F capital. And loved to read Tintin. Tintin is a name, T capital. Comics. And watch Harry Potter films. So Harry Potter, it's again a name. He came to India, name of a place, I capital. And went to visit the Taj Mahal, name of a place. On Sunday, name of a day. 5th June, name of a month, 2020. He, H capital, because we are starting after full stop, met another mouse named Peggy there. Peggy, P capital, because it's a name. He, again H capital, asked her. Now comma, again within the inverted commas when we start with the capital letter. So D, D capital. Do you like to eat cheese? Question mark, because it's a question. Inverted commas closed. Peggy name, so P capital. Told nibbles, N capital. Again within inverted commas, so yes, Y capital. I is always capital. Do. Again after do is a full stop. I again capital. Wish you lived in India. I capital, name of a place. Here we put an exclamation mark because here we are wishing. We, W capital, could eat so much cheese together. Full stop and inverted commas complete. Clear? Now you will have to rewrite this passage in your practice notebook by using the correct punctuation mark. Clear?